was just packing till they want to bang, the moment crack, they won't let me out, confused and deranged. I shout, you see, I have a flight, a carriage to catch. I was going to visit my mother, and I thought I packed and stored all the feelings, the memories, all the things that I didn't need for this trip. You see, I stored them, I stuffed them in this suitcase, but now I'm locked inside this room, and letters keep coming from under the door. In a world much like ours, as they often are, you'll find great kingdoms instead of prominent countries, flying Pegasus and carriages for airlines, and royal decrees instead of executive tweets. In this world, you'll find a small room, and in the small room is where we find our friend Daydream, who is receiving letters from under her door, which is locked from the outside. Letters that cause her to reflect on the past few months as she attempts to break out of this room. A tale of grief and growing up, presenting the letters in the suitcase. Okay, almost ready to go. Something gets silly to take a trip right before I go off to study at Big Up Institute, but I think it'll be a formative experience, or at least a last hurrah. If anything, it'll get me away from Grant and all the talk of transition from adolescence to adulthood. It's just a lot, I guess. And I guess it looks like I'm ready to go. Can someone help me? Letter. The doors are locked. No one in, no one out. You are trapped inside. Oh, at times, such painful word. Find the key if you do long to be set free. Can I have some actual help? Like, can someone open the door? What is this? Read and then write me. Okay. I changed my ringtone because it made me jump. It reminded me of all the things that can make it through walls, the sounds that don't try to stay in one place but come up close, whisper in your ears, even when the sounds are as far away as the kingdom of Moor or the places where mermaids lay. I changed my ringtone because it made me jump. It made me realize that something suddenly wasn't okay. Everything wasn't okay. Okay. How do I even respond to that? I mean, I guess I'd like to get away, but it's not like I find myself caught at a crossroads. I don't want to do this, but I guess I have no choice. I find myself caught at a crossroads. I'm trapped between a dreamless sleep and an oh-so-familiar in the morning. Should I sleep for a few shaky 7 to 9 hours knowing I won't feel a thing, or should I wake to the same hooded figure ready to pull triggers? Not with guns or firepower, but the same pains of the morning hours give me expectations, calculated conversations, be it they're good or bad ones. I won't feel a thing, maybe I shouldn't sleep. I can simply eat the time away with Bible verses and books to read, audiobooks, songs, and repeat back against the sheets, but just don't sleep. Hold back against the moon and the sun telling you to repeat. Hold back against the tears. It's not like you have anymore. Find time for yourself to lay on the bedroom floor. So sure of the fact that you're happy and definitely not sleepy, just buried in the feelings. The feelings that I often prefer to keep in the shadows before I wake, having already decided to walk through the days with my eyes closed, but no. At night, this is so much harder to do. Feelings, the moon seems to hinder any ability I have to hinder you, and so a letter for a letter. Everything changes, yet everything stays the same. More alone than I've ever been, but creating new habits. Have more free time compared to can't remember when, yet still feel stretched thin. Live the life of love and laughter. It went better than how I planned it. But here I am, and happily ever after, left feeling confused and abandoned. I know it's my fault I'm alone. I lied, I sneaked, I abandoned your version of right and wrong. Only because I felt like a being traveling through space, accepted in so many places, beloved by so many smiling faces, and still without a home. How I've grown. I wonder if they'll even recognize me. Will they accept or neglect the person I become? Should it be satisfactory for them to love me for who I was then versus who I am now? I mean, I'm still me, but different. With fresh experiences, with the same questions and almost replicated mentality. And after changing so much, I thought everyone would be happy for me, not so wrapped up in the technicalities of what had been and what did, what I wanted and what happened, the box that I burst myself out of, that I wish I could fit so neatly back into. But do I really want to? Or is that just what they want me to do without what I'm supposed to do? Supposed to. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I know how this goes. Let it be so. So much to say, nothing said. Every good day orchestrated. So the ones that I love most will be misled. You know the mantra. I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. Just get up. No matter how tired, take on the responsibilities that this moment requires. Don't think, just do. Don't care, just respond. Except for all those times where she said I was so much more beautiful than I thought I was. Every piece of me, she was so fond of, such a wonderful thought, despite the same enduring loneliness, coupled with the most persistent of undying confusions. But hey, if there's anything to know for certain, it's that everything changes, and everything stays the same. Oh God, you've got issues. And the door's still locked. No, I can't relate. I don't know what you or these memories want from me, but if anything, I really, really can't relate because I can't feel anything. Only the absence of pain, to put it simply, driving me insane. I shift uncomfortably and hope for a moment. I roll around in playfulness, hoping for a chuckle to show. I ache and self-pity and wait for the tears to grow on me, but feel nothing at all. I remind myself to cherish tears. Because sadness is but in the absence of feeling. My ears are ringing from the lack of stimulation. No sound, at least none, that brings about a reaction to my heart. Nothing the kickstarter feeling of giddiness or glee. I am blinded, not because of a bright light, but because I've been robbed of the ability to see what it's like to be mopey or glad. The absence of sensation is what is haunting me, leaving people leave too often, Even when I asked for, even when I wished, even when I longed for every day to be the day that she would run towards me, I towards her. Long for love, to be the kickstart in my feet, the twinkle in my eye, the joy in my bones. But those were just words, all part of a fantasy, letters written by myself, for myself, that I no longer want to see. I stuffed them in this suitcase, keep the letters as hidden, as far away from me. I stuffed them in this suitcase, because darn it, they're still a part of me. Like the part of me that knows the most of the nights I'm the one who finds myself caught at a crossroads. Lying on the floor, so unsure of what it means to be happy anymore, and just thinking at least it's not tomorrow. Because tomorrow is the same day as yesterday. Yesterday reminds me a few months ago, something like this other day. The other day was 6 months ago, 6 months ago, the same as 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, the same as the day before yesterday, which is the same as today, which is unfortunate. Because tomorrow was the same day as yesterday. I know I sound crazy, that's because everything's the same. I bumped into an old trash can. I'm holding an old letter in my hands and it reads, I changed my ringtone because it made my body race at a pace that made me realize that something wasn't okay. Everything wasn't okay. I'm alright though. As long as there's no sudden sounds, no aggressive conversations, no yelling too loud. I suddenly can't breathe now. Everything's fine. Don't worry about me. No sudden sounds, no aggressive conversations, no yelling too loud. Everything's fine. I guess it has to be. Everything's fine. Don't worry about me because it used to be too much. It used to not be fine, but I changed my ringtone. A text message won't make my heart skip a beat. It used to be too much. It used to not be fine, but I changed my ringtone. I wish life was like my ringtone. I'm so sick of you, I mean of me, I mean of us. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I keep finding myself caught at a crossroads, trapped between a dreamless sleep and an oh so familiar new morning, trying to sleep the whispers away, unable to feel, unable to see. I guess what it reminds me that everything changes and everything stays the same. But then again, this is the end of the lane. It's a transition from adolescence to adulthood. What does it even mean? Voices all around, bursting out from the suitcase, reminding me of everything I don't want to feel, of everything I don't need. The letters, voices, choices remind me that I'm the one who wrote the letters, that I'm the one who locked the door, I'm the one who sent every letter out to me, that I'm trapped here. The letters, voices, choices ask me a resounding sound. What do you want to do now? I don't know. But I guess now would be a better time than ever to go out and find out the door